All right, in this week's upcoming news, I think I would go over some of the products that are going to be coming out this year. So, of course, some of the products that I'll be talking about have already come out as of the recording of this video and everything. So, I'll start with the some of the D&D products that are coming out that over the course have either come out already or coming out over the course of the next year. So, as of this recording uh, in early April of 2024, some of the D&D products that have come out are the Book of Many Things, which came out in the beginning of the year, and then Descent into the Lost Caverns of Soth Canth. Butchering the pronunciation of it, so people can probably uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but the spelling of it is Tsojcanth. That was released at the end of March, just like a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago, as of this recording. So, and of course, the biggest one that's coming out shortly in next month, and May 21st, is the Vecna Eve of Ruin, which is the big adventure book that's coming out that's portraying Vecna the Lich, who is pretty much the iconic villain of D&D. He's been pretty much around since I want to say at least second edition, because that's I remember him from that when I was first introduced. So he could even be introduced in first edition as well. So people can check on that as well. So that's coming out on May 21st, and I do have that on pre-order. So that's going to be one of the flip throughs that I will be doing relatively soon. So it'll probably, as soon as I get it, I'll probably be doing it that week, and or at least go over like the product review, because with it being an adventure book, I don't necessarily want to do like a flip through to be able to in a sense spoil it for people. I'll talk about like, hey, look, and here's what it's all about. Here's kind of like the overview and like what you can expect of it and everything, and here are some ideas like how you can introduce a party to it and everything. So that's like the big one that's coming out at least relatively soon. So then in June 18th, we've got the making of Dungeons and Dragons. 1970 to 77, so it's basically a book on to harken back to like the early days of D&D and how it all got started and everything, and where it came from. So that's like in a sense like you could say a historical source book of how everything got started, 50 plus years ago, well before even I was born. So that's another thing that's coming out. So another adventure book that's coming out as well is Quests from the Infinite Staircase, and that's due out in July 16th. So a lot of these products that are coming out, most likely I'll be getting, and as soon as I get, I'll do the usual flip through and or product review, so that way people can kind of have like an idea, when they come across the videos and everything, they go, oh, okay, so this is what this is. They have at least a general idea of like what to expect of the products and everything. So that way they're not just going like, oh, should I buy it or shouldn't I? Oh, well, let me check this video first and kind of see what so and so has to say about it, to kind of get an idea before I drop 50-60 bucks on a book and everything. So, and then anyway, after that, we actually get a revamp of the core rule books and everything. So now, of course, I'm kind of in the middle, so I don't know what to make of it, because I know back when I was first playing second edition, and of course the people I was playing with at the time, we were like, when third edition is kind of like, oh, we don't need this, or it's going to be total garbage, everything's confined the way it is. We ended up getting playing the third edition, and after like our first or second campaign, like, oh, hey, this is great and everything. So now it's the same thing with fifth edition going into D&D Beyond, and like with these new revamps and everything. I don't necessarily want to say all these new ones are unnecessary, but I also don't want to say oh yeah, change is great and everything. So it's kind of I'm more of in the middle, kind of wait and see how where they're going to make improvements with it and everything. So in September 17th, they're going to do the new player's handbook. So they're going to start with that. And so I've said in the past, and like especially now, like I started doing TikToks under this name and everything, so you can go check that out as well. I mentioned there that like pretty much the only book that you absolutely need to play is the player's handbook. Now the DM guide and the monster manual are invaluable resources for the DM, so those could be like a good pickup for the DM themselves. But like I said, the player's handbook is pretty much the only one you need to be able to play, because as a DM, what you can do is take the information from the player's handbook, like in the chapters that like later chapters, you can kind of like do a lot of like your own homebrew rules and everything. So of course, the legwork to be able to do like a lot of like rules and like stats for monsters and everything is going to be like astronomical compared to like if you were to get the DM guide and monster manual. So it all depends on where you stand as the DM. Do you want the DM guide and monster manual to be able to make things a lot easier for you? Then yeah, yes, go for it. But if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to drop an extra 50, 100 to $120 on those two extra books, okay, I'm willing to do the extra legwork and stuff to be able to not drop money on books and everything. So like I said, the player's handbook is the first of the core rule books that are getting revamped, renewed. That comes out on September 17th, and so then the Dungeon Master's Guide will come out in November 12th, and of course now, and when they come out with the Monster Manual, it won't be until February 18th, 2025. So there's a big gap between the DM Guide and the Monster Manual and everything. So now things could obviously change between now and then, because like we're looking at like a between now and the DM guide, we're looking at like a good 5-6 months between now and then. What as regards to this recording and everything. So those are the big D&D releases that are coming out over the course of the next year or so that like I was able to come across. Now, of course, there could be like other ones that are coming out that they might announce between now and then type of deal. Like I said, everything is kind of subject to change as time marches forward and everything. So now there are a couple things that I did find for like Pathfinder as well. So like the Gallowspire Survivors game has launched. It's like a computer game where you play as like one of three characters, like the fighter, the wizard, or the rogue. It's sort of from what I saw, it looks to be sort of like a dungeon crawl type of game. Like the gameplay and like the way it looked, like it looked to be kind of like old school Baldur's Gate type of deal, where you have your characters and you go through dungeons and everything, and like you, of course, the whole goal is to get to Gallowspire and defeat the Lich and everything, the main villain of that game. So like the what I came across that is that it's already been launched and everything. So like what you could do, like I didn't see anything for like the actual tabletop. So like you might have to, like if you do get the game and play it on like your PC or whatever console it's on, you might have to sit there like as like a DM if you want to introduce this into like the actual like a tabletop RPGs like with Pathfinder. You're going to have to do like some of the legwork like you would have to do like if you didn't buy the DM guide or monster manual for like D&D. So like but anyone like anyone and everyone can always be able to do that relatively easy. So like, oh hey, here's this game, let me take all this information and then move it over here to the table, write it down like or like kind of like make a spreadsheet or however I do things, and be able to like in a sense take it from here and put it over here for like run it as a campaign in like the tabletop form. Another thing that I came across for like a Pathfinder for like the release is like the Jingxi World Guide, like JIANXIA Jingxi. Of course, again, my pronunciation is terrible, so like don't come at me if I butcher stuff and everything. Just correct me and everything. So that's part of the Lost Omens campaign guide for Pathfinder, and so like the character guide is coming out like on April 24th. So like it's going to be coming out as of this recording in the next few weeks and everything. the World Guide won't be coming out until August 28th. So in a sense, like it could be like that gap could be like in a sense like a setup, so that way like people can actually run their own adventures without necessarily like because some people like oh hey look, this is the World Guide, we have to do everything within this confines and everything, so like even though technically like you don't necessarily have to with just coming out with the character guide first and everything, it opens up the world, so maybe they can you can get like give feedback and stuff, so like when the World Guide comes out and like as they see like you may have gone completely like this way with your campaign with just the character guides. When the World Guide comes out and everything, like oh hey look like here's something totally new and everything, or like you might have like done something inadvertently as the World Guide puts out and everything, and then you're like oh hey well why don't, since we did everything like this, why don't we go out and this way and everything and try something new and everything. So those are the couple things I came across for Pathfinder. So this is what I wanted to do for this new segment, is take a look at the products that are upcoming. So like I didn't see as many releases for Pathfinder as I did D&D. It could be that in a sense that Pathfinder is still playing second fiddle to D&D, because like you got D&D is pretty much the top king still, and Pathfinder, even though it is very popular, it's still like in the number 2 spot and everything. So eventually I'll probably like start branching out into like other games, gaming systems, because like White Wolf has of course their own line of product. Like I'll have to look and see if they're still releasing stuff and everything, because like the White Wolf games I have like on my shelves are like Trinity and its prequel Aberrant, which I've gone over, and of course they do have like a Vampire the Masquerade. They got Hunter Reckoning. They got their werewolf books and everything. So that's what the White Wolf is popular for, is those and everything. So like eventually I'll probably start branching out and like if people like want to learn more about like that stuff and everything, I'll be more than willing to branch out and to like start looking into news and stuff for like all the alternatives to like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and everything. So for this week, it's the product reviews of upcoming stuff for D&D and a couple for Pathfinder.